just want to say there's no wrong way to do this. The stick figure is one way, and I'm holding up a few examples of how we as visual facilitators will represent the human form. It can be a stick figure and something as simple as a circle and some lines. This gingerbread kind of curvy little alien looking thing, like that is my go-to. The gingerbread, I master the gingerbread man all day. There's what we call the star man, right? It's just you draw a star with a circle on the top of it. That is a human form right there. And then you can also combine them into, make a little rectangular body, do some lines for arms. Those lines can help you make that figure really expressive if you feel you need to make them standing or with their hips on, hands on their fists on their hips and make them power pose or running or however you want to, use and manipulate that human form, all simply just out of basic shapes. Jeff, I'm going to hand it off to you. Talk to us a little bit now about sequencing.
This, I think, is a really important concept. And you'll hear this reframed in a lot of ways from a lot of people. But the idea is you only need to draw well enough to tell your story. It's not about being an artist. It's not about being, representing what a thing looks like in real life. It's about communicating an idea. And that, of course, is next to this masterful rendition of a scene from a famous film. I wonder if anyone can identify who that is.
Would that be Darth Vader?
That is
Luke
Darth
Skywalker.
Vader. Luke Skywalker.
You got the red and the blue, right? Those
Yeah.
are key indicators, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
The pointed head for the mask.
Yeah.
I'm very proud of this drawing, by the way. And it's really patently awful, but you know who it is, right? It tells the story, and that's all you need. Sequencing just basically means putting things in an order that makes sense. And we see this a lot in comic strips. We also see it in process diagrams. If you've ever, and I know you have, put together a PowerPoint, you've thought about this. What comes first? What comes next? And how do I emphasize? How do I, draw attention to the things that I need my audience to pay attention to? And the three examples we have, the first one is a panel from a Spider-Man comic. And this is, particularly this panel here where Spider-Man realizes that he's caught the person that killed his Uncle Ben. And it is the biggest panel on the page, which tells us that it's an important moment. And so, as you're thinking, if you're using visuals, size is a big indicator of what people should look at first or what they should pay most attention to. The other thing in this that I want to talk a little bit about is showing action. You show an instigating event and its aftermath, and you can see that Calvin, he's blowing a bubble. The bubble pops. Hobbs leaps up, and in the next panel, Calvin is roughed up pretty bad, and he's lying there. For those of you who aren't familiar, Calvin is the little boy, and Hobbs is his stuffed tiger that comes to life in his imagination. And you can see that Hobbs has really done a number on Calvin, but we don't see that action. The artist didn't really feel the need to show us, Hobbs ripping into Calvin. He's just showing us what has happened because of the incident. And that kind of goes into structure and detail and, what do you need and what don't you need? And a lot of times we get a lot of mileage out of figuring out what can we leave out, as opposed to what all can we pack in. And the last one is a diagram from Yuri Malchenko, who I mentioned in the resources area. And Yuri uses, like Chris was pointing, showed those kind of the three bumps with the three dots being a team or a group or, whoever. And Yuri uses a lot of that stuff very proficiently. But if you look really carefully, there's nothing that he's done here that isn't covered in that visual vocabulary. There's nothing here that's not a curve or a dot or an angle. He's just kind of figured out ways to use markers very efficiently and to make things pop a little bit, but it's all just that basic visual vocabulary to help illustrate a process or illustrate, where things are in a given moment. What questions do you have?